My name is Carol Russell, and I am 54 years old, and I'm a registered nurse who happens to work in the operating room. Actually, I had considered and thought about it probably originally about 15 years ago, and was reluctant, as the technology was fairly new at that point, to take that risk. And as I've gotten a little older and the technology has advanced, and I was educated by my ophthalmologist last fall, which is approximately 4 months ago, that I could benefit from the distance correction that LASIK has to offer, is when I seriously decided to educate myself in the new technology to make an informed decision to have the procedure done. Issues that I was having as I've gotten aging and my vision has changed and I've had to look at bifocal correction was that it was really difficult for me to adjust without having eye strain issues to the changing focal lengths here in the no-line bifocals. And it was, for the last 3 years, has actually been a increasingly more sense of irritation for me, and loss of the freedom and function that I enjoyed as I was younger. And I didn't like that. And my ophthalmologist was the one to inform me that having this procedure would potentially alleviate these type of adjustment eye strain issues. So LASIK was the option for me to become not as hindered in my just daily activities and of walking even downstairs without feeling like I've got to look, straight down to get the right focus and not trip up. So I'm really looking forward to having my distance vision corrected. I can't imagine going through life without having to reach over first thing onto the nightstand in the morning to grab my glasses to see. Even if I could just walk through my house without tripping over my own feet would be awesome. I chose Will Vision for my provider, mostly because of the experience that Dr. Will had had and the length of time that he's been in practice. When I came through for the initial evaluation, I immediately enjoyed the rapport with Dr. Will, who was very open to answer my questions, and that's why I chose to come to this center to have the surgery performed, because of his experience and success rate up to this point. I have the privilege of working in the healthcare industry, and I can only tell you folks that as an operating room nurse, you take the opinions of folks that you work behind the scenes in the operating room with when they recommend someone in the healthcare profession. I had recommendations not only from 4 registered nurses, but 2 physicians who had come to Dr. Will for their LASIK and had successful outcomes, and that truly was the choice that convinced me as a fellow healthcare worker that this was the practitioner that I wanted to come to. It was pretty amazing this yesterday, about 15 or 20 minutes past the procedure. I had noticed immediately I had preoperatively had a pretty significant astigmatism. And even so, I've walked through life always seeing oblong shapes instead of round shapes. And I was pretty amazed when I was being driven home yesterday that the street lights actually looked, the red sign really looked round, as opposed to being kind of like figured 8, and that was very cool to me, that had already started so quickly after surgery. And then after I had taken my nap, when I woke up, even though my vision still had a little bit of the fog that's normal, that you look like you're kind of literally in a little bit of a fog, I could see my bedroom wall, and it was clear, and the picture that was hanging there, and that I wasn't tripping over anything. And I turned the corner, it was like, wow, there is the bathroom in there, and I didn't have glasses on. and I could see distances way beyond my expectations. This morning when I got up and was watching the news in my living room, I could not believe how clear I was seeing the TV. Let alone amazed when I got in the car this morning at about 22 hours, 23 hours out post-surgery. And it's the first time in my adult life I've been behind the wheel of a car without glasses on. What I'm looking forward to is the freedom from bifocals. I really truly struggle. With my age, I know that the surgery is not going to correct necessarily my reading vision, and that's totally okay with me because I so struggled with bifocals. So I'll turn into one of those ladies with the funky glasses that I stick on my face when I'm reading, and that will become like a fashion accessory for me. And that's totally cool instead of being the crutch that glasses have always been. Very much looking forward to that. Not having that safety shield on, for people actually being able to see my eyes but not filter through my glasses. I'm looking forward to being able to go outside and take a hike up to Multnomah Falls and actually see the wonder of creation without it having to be filtered. With it being clear and round and not oblong shaped. I can't wait till the next full moon to be able to go out into my backyard and look up and actually see the moon, instead of a single moon, a half moon, and a half moon. I know that sounds bizarre, but that type of clarity and crispness in my distance vision is really what I'm most excited about. What I would recommend to anybody who's thinking about having this procedure done is to do education on your own first. Educate yourself, read whatever you can about the benefits and risks of LASIK, and if at all possible to talk to someone. I did have the privilege of being able to talk to some coworkers to find out their experiences. And I would just really recommend asking questions, talking to people, making sure that the practitioner that you're choosing to perform the surgery is listening to you and answering all of your questions completely and honestly. I totally would recommend this. If someone is serious about making the investment in their sight and their health, I would completely recommend Dr. Will. Mostly because Dr. Will took the time. His office staff have taken the time to answer all my questions. And being in the profession, I think sometimes I asked more questions than the normal layperson was because I know what can go wrong. I was never rushed through the office or made to feel like I was taking up somebody's time, and the procedure itself was such a breeze, and my fears of it being painful or difficult to sit through completely, I had zero pain level, so it was, all of that's just not even an issue. So I would completely recommend the skill level and the artistry of surgery that Dr. Will is able to perform.